Rooster Boosters.
It's the big guy, Scott Ferrari. You got Mike the Grand Poobah
Oh,
Parazzini, who's up
did we lose
in
Scott for a hot second?
the bar.
Oh, there we go.
Mike, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Because I can't hear you, buddy. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Mikey.
Yes, we should be live.
Mikey.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound really weird, though.
That's fine.
It's like, I don't know, maybe your connection. You want me to just go live here by myself?
It's up to you. I can move. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go live by myself. So if you want to stay in.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, here, I'm gonna take you off screen, but you stay in. Yeah, perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Still not working. All right, Mike, do me a favor. Hit the go live button because it ain't working for me. And I'll just do one-on-one. No problem.
Are we good now? Can you hear me now?
You sound like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Mike. So I think what you would just do, yeah. If you can still hear me, just go live right now.
Can you hear me now?
No, I'm still getting the same audio, bro. Still getting the same audio.
Well, I'm not sure what Scott's screen, if it's on Scott's end or my end. So we'll go over right now. I'll go over right now. Oh, here comes Scott.
There we go. Okay, I can hear
There
you
we
better.
go. There we go.
All right. Okay. Woo!
We figured it out.
We figured it out. We're getting all of our stuff together. Here we go, baby. All right. Let's go. So as you guys see, welcome to Rooster Booster time. It took us a little time to get it going, but we got it done. The big guy's been here at JFK Stadium since about noon. Came in for the high school match, and Phil Harris from the Jacks Rangers is giving me some shit right now. I'm very excited. Sold out crowd. When I got here at noon, there was about 10 tickets left for sale that they were selling right when I got here. I'm the big guy, Scott Ferrari. That's Mike the Grand Poobah Parazzini. We now actually have some sound that we can actually hear. Got Connor from Mixed Madness and a bunch of the other guys here. As you can see, Rooney in their black warm-ups behind me. And man, it's a beautiful day. I don't know how it is. How is it up by you, Mike?
It's a beautiful day as well. You know, pushing 60 degrees. It was supposed to be 60 degrees and rainy, but it ended up being 60 degrees and sunny. It's beautiful outside. I was trying to go outside and, do the podcast from there because it was so great, but it ends up, it's fine. We just came back from a touch tournament playing here. It was hosted by the Albany Knicks. So thank you very much for hosting, the touch tournament that we were just at, and had a great day of rugby. Now looking forward to watching some great rugby.
Absolutely. Before down here it was raining. Up by me where I live in Carmel, about an hour and a half away, it was pouring. I got down here, started to drizzle, then it got sunny, and now it's been sunny. So as far as wind, we like to talk about wind. I'm looking at the American flag, which is behind the camera. We're going from my left to my right. Probably a steady 15-mile-an-hour wind. Not really gusting. It's kind of just steady. So almost, it seems as though everywhere we play, we're running into the part where we're having a wind going down the field the entire time. So that's interesting. So, Mike, you want to go over the rosters?
Yes, we'll first start off with the visiting team, the New England Free Jacks. We got Alex Johnson, Foster DeWitt, and Tavita Soul are your front three. Josh Larson is their captain as 4. Stan Van Den Hooven is 5. Joe Johnson, Slade McDowell, and Terrell Pita are their loose forwards. John Poland at 9. 10 is Bedouin Waka. 11, Harry Barlow. 12, LaRue Milan. 13, Wayne Vanderbank. 14, Jack Reeves. 15 is Mitch Wilson. And then their bench includes Peter Jansen, Kyle Carrera, Eric DeJager, Regan O'Gorman, Cam David Owitz, Holden Younger, Harrison Boyle, and Mills Centerevi. So that's rounding out the New England Free Jacks team for today. This is all thanks to DJ Coyle Rugby looking at the lineups for Rugby New York.
Speaking of DJ Coyle Rugby,
there's our there he is.
Speaking of Rick Felizo over there, shout out to DJ Coyle Rugby.
So yes, this is all thanks to him. And then for Rugby New York, number 1, Chancellor Manglusi. 2, Dylan Fawcett. 3, Kaloa Tulumoa. 4, Captain Nate Brakely. 5 is Will Tucker. 6, Joe Basser. 7, Ben Benasso. 8 is Brendan O'Connor. 9, sticking with Connor Buckley. 10 is Sam Windsor. 11, Ed Fidow. 12, Jason Embry. 13 is Fossey Fuatai. 14, Andrew Coe. And 15, Jack Heighton. And then for our bench, it's Wilton Rabolo, Zach Talafo, Nick Mayhew, Charlie Hewitt, Pago, Andy Ellis, Ismaili Shabazz, and then Quinn Nawadi. So
awesome!
I think
you have a good
lineup. Yes, a very strong starting lineup and a very strong reserve and secondary bench coming in.
Yeah, I was thinking of Joe Basser earlier, and I have to say, I think it is the fact that he came on the show. Because since he came on the show, he got into the 23 twice, and now he has a big start again today against New England. And he says it's all due to being on Rooster Booster time. I'm
not saying that it didn't happen because of his work rate, but I think we definitely gave him the Rooster Booster bump. And starts off first 2 weeks afterwards, he's on the bench and gets game time. Now he's starting. I think it's the Rooster Booster bump. So if any of guys on the bench want to get some play time, I think coming on the Rooster Booster time is the way to do it.
Absolutely, that's what we have to do. We have Matt McCarthy and Mike Peaches Petrie up in the booth today. They're doing some pregame, checking out the squads right now. Listen, both squads are very strong. Even New England's loss last week was a strong loss. If people might not realize, New England had 3 tries taken back last week against LA, just like Rooney did. So, any one of those tries could be the winner and the game decider out in LA after they had rough, travel out there to the snowstorm and obviously playing a really hard team. So, we're going to have a really tough matchup. I think they're really going to grind it up front. I don't know, Mike. I think kicking, we keep saying kicking is going to be the difference, but both of these teams like to score. They're throwing up tries and they're making big plays. And, we haven't really seen that many penalty kicks from each team.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, they want to play a lot of ball in hand. The few times that we tried for penalty kicks, it seems like we've missed them. And so we've definitely shifted to hey, maybe just, tapping and going or going for lineouts. We know how, Rugby New York loves to, do that line out maul and, run that line out. And even last week too, with how dominant the scrum was, it seemed like we were picking times instead of doing even the maul. We were going for, scrums, which was great to see. I'm just excited, see what, these are 2 evenly matched teams that have, they just have that drive right now to win. And it's going to be great to see, this game and when it ends up happening.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. I think the scrums are going to negate each other because New England is a big scrum-heavy team. They got the guys up front that can really pressure our guys up front. So I think you're going to see whoever's putting in the scrum is getting that ball. You're not going to see what happened last week with Dallas. I don't expect it to be lopsided on either side. I expect this match to be a tight match. I know the guys in the locker room have kind of, in talking to them pregame, have talked about that they want an attitude that they want to bring to this match. They want an attitude that they want to bring to these home fans. They're very excited, but, you don't want to be too excited either, right? You want to have just the right amount. You want to be on that teeter between excitement and playing well. And I think guys like Quinn Nawadi, guys like Connor Buckley, who's been starting now every match so far. Some have, been there, done that. Ben Bonasso, Charlie Hewitt, Nate Brakey. They're going to kind of calm the new guys down and say, hey, yes, this is a rivalry match, but we have to really, be calm, not go over the top. Don't fight back as much on the after the play stuff. So far we've been really good on that, even though the penalties have been up. We've been really good. Last year we had a lot of this, behind the play BS that we're getting penalties and cards for. We have to continue on that route, but we have to stop penalties overall. And I'm making sure Sam Windsor isn't eating the popcorn this week. Poor guy had a whole, even though he scored, had a bunch of knocks last week and the week before. We love Sammy, but there's something there. I don't know if he just has the yip or if it's just he knows contact is coming. But I think if he gets his hands right, man, you're gonna have a big day from Sammy.
Yeah, let's get some glue on those hands. I think the key is definitely going to be getting the ball out to the backs. These two, both packs are very strong. They got a lot of power up front. It's going to be interesting to see the battle that they have, and I'm looking forward to seeing that battle. Those lots of picks and goes. But yeah, it's gonna be a back ball. I think the backs are gonna be the determination.
I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where we do have two guys not in the 23, and Happy Kapabalavu and Tara Pryor both nicked up. Where whether they start or whether they come out as reserves off the bench, they provide a spark. So you have to make sure that the guys coming off the bench this time are going to provide that spark. I think they do, but there's something to say about what Happy can do, what Tara can do. So it's what I mean. It's kind of like one of those things where it's unknown in a game like this because you haven't seen some of these guys play.
Absolutely. But I have faith in these new guys. I think they brought it up in this this culture, this strong culture. And I think that the veterans will do their job to make sure that everyone's steady and ready to go. Even with some guys making it to the starting, like what's it called? We've got Joe Basser making his first start. I'm looking forward to seeing that. He played well as a sub. Who's to say he doesn't deserve a starting spot when he needs to. I'm looking at we also talk about these front three, Chance, Dylan, and Kilo. Like, let's be honest, as we've mentioned before, the front three for Rudy could be the front three starting for anywhere, and that goes for our backups. So it's at that point, it's just, hey, who wants to get a breather in this week? Who wants to put in 60 minutes? Who wants to put in 40 minutes? It's going to be interesting. But I think yeah. So I still think backs are going to be the key. I think subs are also as well going to be the key. When Andy comes in, there seems to be a spark that happens when Andy comes in and subs for Connor. Maybe that at a certain time, maybe we're struggling on offense. Hopefully not. That Andy comes in and really changes it up for us.
Absolutely. The other thing is we're talking about subs. We actually have we're not starting all three of our locks. Charlie Hewitt, I believe, is on the bench. That's a good thing for me. I knew I thought that would be an issue going into Dallas last week. Obviously, it wasn't, but it still scares me. We are down Nick Savetta. He's not in the country yet. He's playing for Oxford. I believe the varsity is either this weekend, it's happened already, or it's coming in next weekend or the week after. So I assume Nick Savetta is going to be coming to country soon because he's playing for Oxford and wants to play against Cambridge in the varsity. Just watching everybody play here, the only thing that concerns me is, what happens when we get stuck. New England, I think, has the most tackles per team, per game, and total in the first 5 weeks. So, one of the things that has been an issue for Rooney every season is if their initial attack gets stifled, they don't know how to kind of change it up to figure out what's working and what's not. Usually what has happened is guys like Dylan Foster have taken over to start the string of pick and goes, which tends to work out in our favor because it's in our strong suit. The last 4 weeks, I haven't seen that. They've continued to go where they're trying to stretch it out to the backside. I don't know if that's going to continue to do well against the Free Jacks, considering they tackle so well.
Yeah, I think when we saw that first, week that we played, week 2, technically, our first game against, Houston, it seemed to struggle. And that was, our offense struggled. Part of that was because the wind was freaking incredible. But, I think, once we stuck to that of, let's get the ball out wide, let's get the ball out wide, let's get the ball out wide. We had 2 beautiful end feed out tries. I think that seems to be like the reset button for us is, set it out wide. And hope that something miraculous happens. Let's maybe not do that extra pass that leads to a turnover, which we saw happened a lot. Let's hold on to the ball. I think we definitely started to get into gear against Atlanta, and we saw that things coming together. And I think against Dallas, we really saw the full potential of our offense, which was guys in support, people running great lines with one another. So I'm hoping it would be a major step back if we're not doing that this week. We need to continue to do that. Run support lines. Be Johnny on the spot with rucks, things like that. And I think if we continue to execute that, we will continue. We'll continue to win games.
Well, that's the thing is those extra passes killed us with good teams. It will definitely kill us with New England. They score a lot of their points off of turnovers and transition points.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's why I think their team has the big tackle rate, though, is because they're not necessarily holding the ball on offense for a long time, but the amount of time they have the ball and score is a short amount of time, unless their defense has to make those tackles. So that's what is one of those things that concerns me about them being able to score on transitions very quickly.
I think, the perfect example of that is the Free Jacks game against the OGs, where their defense was just straight solid, and they're forcing things to happen. They were forcing, the OGs to make something happen, and it didn't. And since they were forcing it, they ended up making mistakes. It was great.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think we're coming to the end of our show here. Mikey, are you standing with your score prediction?
I'm standing with my score prediction. I think it's going to be a close game. I still think it's going to be Rugby New York by 10. I think it's going to be a close game throughout, and I think it just we get a try at the end that either on on a New England Free Jack mistake, unfortunately, either a Rooney overload or something happens, a misplaced ball because they try to force something and we capitalize on it, which we've been able to see that we could do. So I think that's how we ended up getting by 10.
Gotcha. I think I had 3 on Tuesday or 2. I'm going to continue with that.
Jason Zimmerman here, leading the the MLR, leading the Super Brew, and every single thing. He says Rugby New York by 2.
Gotcha. Rugby New York by 2. I'm going by 2. I'm sticking with that. Again, I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I want to see us win. I think we can win. This is one of those where through the schedule we play twice. We play New England 3 times, twice at home, so you definitely have to pick up those wins. And we want to start gaining ground on the other teams in the Eastern Conference. So right now, I think we're going to be, we're going to end the show right here, and we'll enjoy the game. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. I'm the big guy, Scott Ferrara. That's Mike, the Grand Poobah Parazzini at the Excelsior Pub. I'm down JFK Field in Hoboken. Let's go, Rooney.
Let's go, Rooney.